Hello everyone, this is Bhavna from Z Business. With Budget 2025 just around the corner, we are gearing up to give you the latest trends and insights. In today's session of Budget Bucket List, we will dive into Namrata Mittal's key expectations from the upcoming Union Budget. Namrata is economist at SBI Mutual Fund. Hello Namrata, welcome to Z Business.
Hi, nice to see you.
As we know, Budget 2025 is approaching. How would you describe the current state of the Indian economy?
Presently in Indian economy, demand is definitely a concern. And we did see that in Q2 FY25 GDP data, which printed at 5.4%, significantly underwhelming the expectation. We saw the earnings outcome that was there for Q2 was a disappointment, and we are in the midst of Q3 earnings outcome that does not seem to be any exciting either. So growth definitely needs a more concerted policy support, both on the monetary and fiscal side. There is an urgency now for the government to speed up its spending. We are seeing that on multiple areas of expenditure that is listed out for the central government. But the effort needs to go beyond that in the current context. With regards to inflation, India does get affected more by demand side as from the supply side, and commodity has been well behaved, but for a few commodity, for example in 2024 higher vegetable prices were a concern for the retail prices, though we are seeing those pressures subside at the margin, and that area seems to be well placed as an outlook for 25. Liquidity in the banking system is definitely a concern. Banks are scouring for deposit. They're not able to meet their reserve requirements, their regulatory requirements, alongside meeting the credit demand. So policy effort needs to be bolder on those front as well.
So, do you think there is enough focus on crucial sectors like manufacturing and infrastructure, or more needs to be done there?
From the central government side, the infrastructure focus is there. Stepping up also needs to happen on the state side, particularly on areas such as urban planning or state level transportation needs and so forth. Manufacturing needs an innovative thinking within the government circle now, because we have stagnated at 17% of GDP when it comes to manufacturing sector. Our wish list is to go to 25%. We did introduce production link incentives that has worked very well for a few sectors, but that still needs to be reviewed.
So, many tax exemptions and deductions are there offered in India, right? So, do you think there is a need to simplify or reduce them?
I presume you're talking about the personal income tax. The budget that happened in July 2025 post election did spell out that they want to come out with a simplification of personal income tax, some sort of a direct tax code that has been in the pipeline for quite some time now. Let's see if we get it in this budget, or even a glimpse of it, or a pathway, partially a step towards it. Yes, but there is that desire within the government circle as well, and that is needed for India.
So, for small businesses and micro sector, what tax benefits or incentives should the government introduce in 2025?
Okay, so for this, today the SMEs or MSMEs, one area which can be addressed, and does not necessarily need to be within the budget, is further simplification of the GST. There are still a lot of GST cases. There are arbitration process, multiple cases in GST, because there are loopholes in understanding various areas. Perhaps the council needs to come up with the answers on that. And secondly, if you remember, post COVID, we had, or in fact in 2019, there was an introduction of concessional corporate tax for the new manufacturing unit. It lapsed with this budget. So maybe that can be reintroduced.
So, what about defense? Has there been a fair allocation there, or should one expect a big ticket move this time around?
Maybe not, because defense you are seeing an indigenization of defense orders, and that's benefiting Indian companies. But a lot of these large orders, they have multiple nuances getting involved, which goes beyond the normal macro cycle. And these are sensitive subjects and they have to be kept in mind.
So, from an economist perspective, what key steps should the government take in the 2025 budget to drive strong economic growth?
So this is my wish list. It's not my base case, but ideally, given the current growth scenario that we are seeing and current global backdrop, where world over you're not so focused on fiscal consolidation. I would have wished if they could have not gone. I mean, that's my wish that perhaps they should not go for fiscal consolidation this year. Let there be another year when you target 4.9% of GDP. But that's not my base case. Though I still do think that after a good 80 to 90 basis point of consolidation every year in last 2 years, you could see more like 30 to 40 basis point of a consolidation this time around.
There is one more thing, job creation, especially in the rural areas. So, how can tax and related policies help labor intensive industries in India?
So I would not say particularly rural or urban, but for example, when you introduced PLI in electronics and IT hardware, there was a concerted effort. There were multiple measures to boost the electronic sector manufacturing in India, and that has worked really well because electronics is an employment intensive sector, and more so it employs the females of India. So you need to, we already, labor is a cheap labor is our competitive advantage as an economy. So there are multiple other sectors like textile, leather, plastic, or auto, where we do have the potential. You just need to identify. We have a PLI in auto and we have PLI in textile, but that has not worked to the desired level. There's a need to review that. There's a need to see if other industries or sectors can also be brought under the ambit of PLI with an objective of job, with a parallel objective of job creation.
As we know, India is working to increase revenue from the direct taxes compared to indirect taxes, right? So, are there any specific steps can the government take to create a balance between these two?
That's a natural outcome because we're seeing that personal income tax buoyancy has improved significantly. We were just a few years ago, prior to COVID, personal income tax to GDP was less than 3%. It's now 3.5%. It's one of the highest area of buoyancy. That is a result of the fact that we do realize that the taxpayers, while we have around, if we see only, and there are statistics to say that less than 1 crore people actually pay taxes in India. So government is in fact trying to link the direct tax network and the indirect tax network so that they start to speak to each other. So we understand that where there is tax evasion, a natural outcome of linking GST data with the income tax data has been that the income tax compliances have improved.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks, Namrita. Bye.
Most welcome. Have a good day.